So very short about me. I've been working with therapy for 37 years. And 20 years ago, my work changed very radically because I had a very profound experience of who we truly are. And it never really left me. And over all these years, I have been finding ways to, and people have taught me ways to come back into this that we never got and never lost. Our true nature. But we bypass it all the time. So I've found many different ways to try to seduce people back to something they never lost. So my inquiry is a kind of seduction. You will be seducing each other here for these 45 minutes with these questions. Whenever somebody starts coming close to source, keep your eyes closed. Whenever anybody starts coming close to source, there will be certain marks or experiences that will arise here. And we are in these inquiries, we are using them, these marks. You can call them what? Landmarks. And you will all recognize them when you sense them and feel them. So I have many of these inquiries, and the next day we will see what fits. I have one for today that most people like and get something out of. And we sit two and two facing each other in this line here, and then we move. So we get a new mirror, a new partner. That this structure here, they say, comes from Zen. I did it for the first time in Copenhagen many years ago. It was called Enlightenment Intensive. Maybe some of you have got it or done it or known it. It was the first time I worked in these lines. And then when it came to Pune, it became Who's In, or the Satori group. Because there's something very special about that you sit and face another person and the other person just listen. Ask the question and listen. So if you're the listener, you really just totally see if you can feel what the other say. Because that will create a rapport. If you feel, try to feel what the other say. And open your heart and keep eye contact. And whenever the person starts slipping away or spacing away, you ask the question again. Same question. Because if I ask you just to sit, all of you with closed eyes and meditate on this question, you will sit and space out and think about what you're going to eat tonight. But when you have somebody looking at you, there's something very, very profound about the meeting with another person. So many people also love to meet somebody else like this, very deeply. And since this whole festival is about that when we start touching this place, how do we keep it? How do we nourish it and don't fall away from it? That's how this inquiry here fits totally into it. Okay, so let's just get started. You move out and sit in front of each other. You move out here and sit in front of as much as possible. If you cannot sit, we have chairs up here. You can sit in a chair. You both part close your eyes. And you will be surprised to see that the way you talk is very dependent on the mirror sitting in front of you. That's why we move to a new partner. Because you will not say the same thing to another person. So this is the question, and only this question. And it's important, you can of course ask in Swedish, but it's important you ask this question. When we start getting close to source, when we start coming home to who we truly are, then you will start experiencing as if you are being lived. You are not living really as a separate entity. You are being lived. You will start feeling that, and it's overwhelming beautiful. And it can be so ecstatic. And we all know it. If you consider the way your blood is moving around in the body, are you doing that? Are you moving the blood out to every cell in the body? You will of course say, no, for sure not. It's a high intelligence. Are you beating the heart? No. Are you remember to breathe? No. Why do you then think there is a separate entity that creates your feelings, your thoughts? Why? And it's not so. It's ignorance. But we have lost, we get conditioned and got separated and identified with a separate entity called me, which is built up of thoughts and memories. And we look at the world from this point. And this entity identifies with the body and say, I am the body, and from here my world goes. But you will see when you start coming home, it's not really so. It's so utterly simple, but very profound to start coming into your clarity. And these inquiries can be a way to really, we will do other inquiries tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. It can be different ways to try to come back. Enlightenment is not something you achieve, it's something you remember. It has nothing to do with your thinking. It's your being. It's nothing to do with what you do, it has something to do with what you are. So A, you will ask B in a little while, how is it experienced to be lived? How is it experienced to be lived? See if you could just step aside and get into that feeling. How would that be? Because deep down you know it. It's the truth. You are being lived. There's only one reality here that plays the game to all these body minds. That's what you will come to see. So, how is it experienced to be lived? And then you just look at B and you really be with B and listen. And if you feel B is slipping too much away, you ask the question again, how is it experienced? How is it felt? Not what you're thinking about it. I'm not interested in that. It's not philosophy. It's about feeling something, experiencing something. And I forgot my gong, but I try to do it with these two here. So I will ring these whenever we start and stop. Okay, are you ready? You understand the question? How is it experienced to be lived?